अंजनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथामृतं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः। ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोविंद राधे तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा. So welcome to the Manah Shiksha series every Friday, Saturday and Sunday morning. We have been discussing third verse, Yadikshera Brajabhuvi Ragam Saragam Pratijanu Yuvadvandam Tachet Arad Abhilashe Swarupam Shirupam Sahagana Iha Tasyagrajamapi Sputam Premna Nityam Smara Nama Tadatvam Shumanam. So we have been discussing Bhakti Vigyan Goswami's commentary on this verse. Maharaj spoke about these two desires. Avasam, you have a desire to reside in Braj and spontaneously offer your love to the divine couple. Then, always smara. Smara means remember clearly with love. Swarupam, Shri Rupam, Sahaganam, Iha Tasyagrajam Api. Remember Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Sarup Damodar Goswami, and all the Goswamis in one sense. So, we discussed how Manah Shiksha gives instructions to develop attachment, Maya Sakta Manabharta. And the two desires and their detail is what we also saw. What are those two desires? And then we went into this topic of experience of the realm of spiritual emotion, the Bhakti Ras. We had not come here. We had been discussing this very paragraph where how we experience Bhakti Ras. And interestingly, Maharaj is mentioning that why is Raghunath Das Goswami emphasizing on remembering Swarupam, Shri Rupam, and Sanatans. Tasya Agrajam. And why not Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Why not Nityananda Prabhu? Why not the Panchatattva who came, who descended to give prema? You know? So Raghunath Das Goswami is telling, don't remember them. It's not that we don't remember them, but he's emphasizing here Swarupam Shri Rupam. And we have been discussing that part, if you remember in the last class. Now, I would like to know from the devotees here, many of you had given your answer and we discussed partly this. We have discussed partly. And what is your now answer that why is Raghunath Das Goswami saying we should remember the Goswamis? What is the reason? Anyone? We have to a certain degree answered this in our last discussion, but I want to know from the audience. What is the reason? Anyone would like to try? Okay, so I think last week's class was not clear. So I'll just emphasize here that Nityananda came, he's a Akrodha Paramananda. He used to go house to house, knock, hold a straw and roll in the ground. And people would feel the spiritual experience what Nityananda is doing. And how you want to attain it? Chant Hare Krishna. So that's how he told. And we just chant Hare Krishna. Mahaprabhu come to give Prema Namo Maha Vadanyaya. But in the beginning, he gave it free. In the beginning, he gave it. Drink a little. But then you have to pay a price. The price is engage in sadhana, get rid of the anarthas. Get rid of the anarthas. So chant and be happy. And chant and that and means to become free from anarthas. Then you'll be happy. So he's Mahavadhyanya and his path is based on rag only. It's not on Vaidhi. But as I was mentioning that there is an element of rag within the practice of Vaidhi sadhana, and only when we take to Raganuga sadhana, then we are actually practicing Raganuga bhakti. I was making that point, if you remember. So it is Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, and Sarup Damodar who gave us literatures how to experience that emotions. And that is why Raghunath Das Goswami is saying, you remember. You remember. So that's the reason which we have been discussing in the last class. And we came here that Rupa Goswami has created the amazing book Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which is a guide to the realm of spiritual emotions. It is a guide to the realm of spiritual emotions. So the Bhakti Ras is the spiritual rasa, which is experienced in the heart. And that is what Rupa Goswami has given in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And I was emphasizing in the last class how devotees should study Srila Prabhupada's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the Nectar of Devotion summary study, not only once, twice, thrice, 4 times, 5 times, but at least 6 times. And then we have to study now the Acharya's commentaries of that. Do a systematic study of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. That was the point I was making in the last class. So let us continue from here where we left. That is why we must remember Rupa Goswami with focus, because he has given us, the complete science of the Bhakti Ras, science of Rasa, science of devotion. To remember him clearly means to remember what he taught us and understand the way so that we do not get lost again in the forest of material life. We don't again become attracted to material rasa. We don't become attracted to material rasa and we get attracted to spiritual rasa. So that is why Sputam Premna Nityam Smara. So that is why Raghunath Das Goswami is emphasizing remember clearly with love Rupa Goswami, Sarup Damodar Goswami, and Sanatana Goswami. So this is the deeper meaning and reason why we should remember the three Goswamis prominently and all the Goswamis. That is paragraph 28. Paragraph 29. Bhakti Ratnakar is a book on the history of Gaudiya Vaishnavism and the final years of Raghunath Das Goswami's life. The account begins with stating the feelings he was experiencing while living on the banks of Radhakund defy description. So what feelings he was experiencing, it's beyond any description. You just cannot fathom it. So that's why devotees sometimes sometimes bhakti can become dry, chanting and following the rules and regulations, serving, all that we do. But we want to enter into that realm of spiritual rasa. And that's why we should sometime read books which are especially giving these exchanges in the form of pastimes. So there are certain books in our Goswami literatures which are there, and one of the books is Bhakti Ratnakar. Anyone knows about other books? Any other books? Any other books in our Goswami literatures which can give us an experience of the spiritual emotions, what the eternal associates were experiencing? Any other books? Anyone here? I've already told Bhakti Ratnakar. No, devotees don't know the title of the book's names. Jagdishwar Prabhuji, yes. Yes, Prabhuji.
Brihad Bhagavatam?
Brihad Bhagavatamrit, yes, definitely it is, but sometimes it is quite voluminous and it's also philosophy in the beginning, but yes, definitely it gives entire, actually it is the topmost of the Gaudiya Vaishnava literature given by Sanatana Goswami, and actually it is the foundational book of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Based on that, all the Goswamis, Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami, Jiva Goswami, based all their compositions. Yes, but still, any other books? Yes, you are definitely right about it. But for beginners who are few years in Krishna consciousness, it is a little difficult to study such a heavy book. Among any other small books anyone knows? Krishna Pad Prabhuji.
No, Prabhuji. Unfortunately, I don't know.
Yes, Prem Vilas. Please buy this book, Prem Vilas. Prem Vilas is written by Nityanand Das, one of the servants of Janvi Mata, about the account of Narottam Das Thakur, Shyamanand, and Srinivas Acharya. And when you read it, you'll be highly affected. Then there is Narottam Vilas, the pastimes of Narottam Goswami. So Prem Vilas, Narottam Vilas are the books, and there are many others. But right now I can suggest these two, and Bhakti Ratnakar also, in one sense. So Bhakti Ratnakar gives the account. He was always feeling the pain of separation from Krishna, a fire burning him from inside. He was swimming in tears and rolling in the dust as he constantly cried, "Where are you? Shri Sarup Damodar, Shri Rup, Shri Sanatan." So this was what Raghunath Das Goswami was experiencing, and he was calling out Swarupam, Shri Rupam, Tasyagrajam. And that's what he's mentioning in Manah Shiksha verse. He was repeating these three names because there was a treasure for all Gaudiya Vaishnavas. There was a treasure. In Narottam Das Thakur's bhajan, of course, Pratna is also a book which all devotees should have. Lal Sai Mai Pratna from Pratna 4, he also sings Rupa Raghunatha Pade Abe Akushi. So Narottam Das Thakur is praying Rupa Raghunatha Pade Abe Akuti. When will I have the desire to be situated at the lotus feet of Rup and Raghunath? Now, what does it mean to be at the lotus feet of Rup and Raghunath? Anyone? Right. What it actually means to be, sheltered or be situated at the lotus feet of Rupa Raghunath, Rupa Raghunath Pade. What does it mean for us practically? What does it mean? Anyone can speculate also. What does it mean? Virendra Yadav Prabhuji, Krishna Prabhuji, yes.
Prabhuji, reading the literatures of them is associating with them, and following those instructions in personal life is taking shelter of their lotus feet.
Okay, it is other way.
Okay.
Taking shelter of their lotus feet means studying the Goswami literatures, and serving the Goswamis means applying those instructions in our life.
Okay.
Applying those, when you apply those instructions, you're directly serving Rupa Raghunath. When you're studying the literatures, you're at that feet. So this is
Okay.
what Upadesh Amrit and Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu books are of Prabhupada. So they are not ordinary. By just studying them, you are situated at the feet of the six Goswamis. When will I be eager, akuti, to understand the words of Rupa and Raghunath, so that by their virtue and treasure of love for Radha and Krishna, and the understanding of this love will awaken in me. They have love for Radha and Krishna, and by studying, we will also get that love. In fact, next paragraph, even ordinary love is very difficult to understand. Everyone should admit this. How this boy, got mad after this girl, or how this girl, ran away with this boy. What really happened? And now, because of this internet and online forums, it is transcending all material boundaries and material barriers from one country to another country. Things are going crazy. So ordinary love is also difficult to understand. Pushkin, a great authority in mundane love, used to speak about it. Even with ordinary love, it is impossible to understand how it appears and disappears, and what causes and destroys it. What can be then said of understanding the love between Radha and Krishna? But at the same time, such an understanding is our goal. So we should not take so much interest in understanding the ordinary love which happens, but although it is difficult to understand, but this is more difficult to understand the spiritual love between Radha and Krishna. But this is our goal. Next paragraph. If you have any questions, you can always raise your hand. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared on earth and has made that love possible and achievable. Of course, sometimes the goal seems very lofty and almost unreachable. Nevertheless, it is achievable. Therefore, this third verse tells us that after we have cleared pride from our mind, that is in verse 1, Sada Dambam Hitva, we should meditate on Swarup, Sri Rup, and Sanatan Goswamis, because it is only through them that we can understand the pastimes of Radha and Krishna and truly understand the meaning of the holy name. So after we have given up pride, because pride is the obstacle to develop spiritual attachment, and now that spiritual attachment is directed to the divine couple, to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is non-different from Radha and Krishna. It is directed to Guru, who is very dear to Srimati Radharani. That is spoken in second verse. Now a deeper attachment is to the Goswami, Sri Rupa, Swarupa, Sri Rupa, and Sanatana. So that's the point. Okay. The next theme from paragraphs 30 to 33 is the holy name transforms the heart. Okay, Virendra Yadav has a question. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu Dandut Prabhu, following Sarup Goswami, it is strictly this Manah Siksa book or any other book?
Following Sarup Goswami for us is Sarup Goswami is the most confidential associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who assisted him in all his internal pastimes, especially in the Antilila. And Sarup Damodar, gave these teachings to Raghunath Das Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami. And the Goswami literatures are most important for us. But for us, the foremost Goswami is our founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada's books, especially his main Bhakti Shastri books, Updeshamrit, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads. But Bhakti, the Bhakti which we are practicing is Raga Bhakti, which is given in Updeshamrit and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which we study as a part of Bhakti Shastri. That's why Prabhupada included 2 of the Goswami books there, in the 4 books. So studying Srila Prabhupada's Updeshamrit, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Bhagavad Gita, actually there is a lot of rasa in the Bhagavad Gita, because we cannot realize that rasa. It's philosophy. We are breaking our head in understanding the philosophy, but there is so much of spiritual exchange, rasa happening between Arjuna and Krishna. But first we have to understand tattva, and then rasa will manifest. So these are important for us to understand, and for many years we should study this. And that is also slowly, with the purification of the heart, then at a higher level, we can understand that, our prayer should be deeper to beginning from the Parampara Prabhupada to all the previous acharyas to the Swamis. And like that, it takes gradually, step by step. That is how we should understand. Is it okay, Prabhuji?
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Any other questions? Okay, so the next theme is that the holy name transforms the heart. It's 2 paragraphs. Because Maharaj mentioned, then we can, chant the holy name. Nityanand Prabhu is to fall at their feet. Remember, who is Nityanand? He is the creator of the spiritual and the material worlds. And Mahavishnu is his Amsha, Namsha, Namsha. And he has come and participating in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, serving Lord Chaitanya and experiencing these rasas, experiences. And that's why he's rolling on the ground. If you want to experience this, chant Hare Krishna. So this is the holy name. Holy names is supposed to transform our heart. So this is the point Maharaj is going to make a list for us. In itself, the holy name contains a powerful impetus for change. We hear the holy name and we hear that the holy name is God himself, and we realize that we can no longer live as we lived before. There are books like the Bhagavad Gita and there are teachings and words that carry this impetus in themselves. I must not live like this anymore. I must transform my life. Sometimes people get this feeling of needing to change at the first sound of the holy name, perhaps seeing devotees on Harinam. So, the moment we study Prabhupada books, we cannot live a life as we used to live before. Immediate transformation happens, and everyone has experience of this. Yes. So I remember one of our devotee had come to Belgaum with his son to get admitted in engineering college, and they wanted me to also accompany. So I met the principal and invited him to the temple. And I told him, I saw that you have the encyclopedia in your house. He had invited me to his house and he showed me the entire encyclopedia, 45,000 rupees worth books, from 45 volume books. I said, Srimad Bhagavatam not only contains information of only the Earth planet, but all the planetary systems and everything in this universe and beyond this universe. So you should have Bhagavatam also. So they both came, husband and wife, to the temple and picked up the Bhagavatam. And they had Bhagavatam in their library, along with the other huge collection, because both husband and wife were professors, and the husband was a principal. And the wife read the Srimad Bhagavatam, and one day when I visited, she told me, please tell me something. After I have started reading Bhagavatam, I have lost taste for reading all other books. What has happened to me? So this is the change which can happen. And everyone has gone through that change. But as devotees spend many years in Krishna consciousness, we are looking for a deeper change. Now, Maharaj is going to give one example of how immediately sometimes with the first sound of the holy name, there can be a change. Maharaj gives one example. Sometimes people underestimate the holy name as a form of spiritual practice and preaching because they do not understand what it is. I was once told a story about a Harinam on the Arbat in Moscow. A girl came up and stood in the crowd and suddenly started sobbing after hearing the sound of the holy name. She began clapping her hands, tapping her foot, and singing along. When the Harinam moved on, she followed behind and, as if spellbound, sang along with the devotees, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. She walked and then she came with them to the temple. In a couple of hours, she was dressed in sari with beads in her hand. What a transformation. What a transformation, Can happen to some, right? So this is, we underestimate the holy name, the potency of the holy name, what it can transform. This is a true story Maharaj is narrating. Okay. Next theme. Paragraph 34 to 47. Very interesting theme. The moment Rupa Goswami became Rupa Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Manavishna. It's a very interesting, theme and title. The moment Rupa Goswami became Rupa Goswami. What does this mean? So let us try to figure out. It is Rupa Goswami along with Sarup Damodar and Sanatana Goswami who explained this personal spiritual experience to us and gave it a particular form. There is a story about the moment Rupa Goswami became Rupa Goswami. We chant this mantra, Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantukam. This verse, when we are chanting, we should deeply meditate on this verse, what this really verse is. Stapitam Yena Bhutale, on this Bhutale, he has established the Manobishtam of Mahaprabhu to give that love, what Srimati Radharani possessed to Krishna, and he himself had come to experience. Swayam Rupa Kada. When will that Rupa Kada? When? Mayam, me, Dadati will give shelter at his lotus feet, and I'll also experience that rasa. When will that happen? It says that Rupa Goswami had entered the mind of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and by special mercy he could understand what was going on in Lord Chaitanya's heart. It was at Rath Yatra, and the year after year during Rath Yatra, that the same thing happened over and over again that nobody could understand. When the devotees pulled the chariot of Lord Jagannath, Lord Chaitanya danced in front of that chariot, repeating strange words. Setaparnanath payu yahalagi madandahane juri gehu. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 155. Over and over again, he said, I have got that Lord of my life for whom I was burning in the fire of lusty desires. Madana Dahane means the fire of passion. The devotees could not understand why he is saying this verse. After that, Lord Chaitanya would repeat a Sanskrit verse from the romantic collection of 100 verses by the poet Sri Amaru. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would repeat this over and over. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 158. यह कौमारहरः स एव हि वरस्ता एव चैत्र शापास् ते चन्मिलितमालती सुरभय प्रौढा कदम्बालिना स चैवास्मि तथापि तत्र सुरतः व्यापारलीला विदो रेवारोदसीवतसीतरोतले चेतसमुत्कण्ठे. He was saying that the same young man who stole my heart in my youth has come back to me, and these are the same moonlight nights of the month of Chaitra. The month of Chaitra is very hot month, and at night when the full moon is shining and there is cool breeze, people become peaceful. In this verse, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that he can smell that same fragrance of the Malati flowers. He mentions fragrance here deliberately because smell has a special potency. It is able to carry us back to a situation that we have almost forgotten. Suddenly, smelling a particular fragrance, we are transported to where we once were, even if the situation existed only in our mind. That's why when we smell outside food, immediately we get attraction. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that it is the same smell that was there once in my youth, and the youth man that stole my heart, then it's back again. The same breeze is blowing and the same fragrance of the Malti flower is wafting from the Kadamba forest, and I am the same too. Nevertheless, I'm unhappy and I want to go back again to the place of our first meeting on the bank of Reva under the Betasi tree. Everyone honored and respected Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but no one could understand what he was saying except for Sarup Damodar, who was admitted into the depths of his heart. He was the first to write in his memos who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is. Sometime later, during Rath Yatra, Rupa Goswami was there and heard this verse. When he heard it, he returned home and wrote another verse on a palm leaf. His handwriting was even as beautiful as a string of pearls. He attached the palm leaf to the roof of his hut and then he went to bathe in the ocean. Meanwhile, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to see him, but he found no one. He went to the hut and saw the verse attached to the roof. When he read it, his hair stood on end, and a shiver of ecstasy ran over his skin. He wondered, how does he know what is going on in my mind, in my heart? Sarup Damodar knows, because I have told him. He spends his sleepless nights with me. But Rupa Goswami has just come to Puri. So how does he know everything? He grabbed the leaf in ecstasy, embracing Rupa Goswami who had returned from his bath. Actually, Rupa Goswami came and saw Mahaprabhu reading this verse. He first offered Dandavats. And when he got up, Mahaprabhu first slapped him out of anger in love and then embraced him. How do you know my heart? Then Mahaprabhu ran to Sarup Damodar, told him the story about the verse and asked him, Sarup, how does Rup know what is going on in my mind? Commenting on the story, Srila Prabhupada said once he had a similar personal story. Srila Prabhupada had the same personal experience. Anyone knows what is that personal story, what Srila Prabhupada had, which is very similar of Rupa Goswami knowing the heart of Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada knowing the heart of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. What is that personal story? Anyone knows? Anyone can guess? What is that story? It's a very, very well-known story. Anyone? Yes, Krishna Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, is it when Srila Prabhupada wrote a poem where he referred to the mood of His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur as, uh, finishing of Mayavad?
Yes, excellently, excellent. This is that. I don't have that couplet which Prabhupada had composed. I should have referred here, but in impersonal calamity, thou has removed something eternal. He had written an offering to his spiritual master in a form of a poem. When Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur read it, he was so pleased that he called his closest companions and servants and had them read this offering again and again, explaining to them that his intention had been understood. Sri Prabhupada asked, I wonder, how could I understand his intention? It is the same question that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Swarup Damodar. I wonder, how could he understand my mind? Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, used to, actually show to his very, very intimate God disciples who were sannyasis, Bhakti Rakshak Sri Maharaj. See, this is what he has wrote. He understood my heart, So that's how he won the heart of his spiritual master, and that's why he was able to fulfill his mission. Swarup Damodar replied, he could understand only because he had received your mercy. He could understand it. He could not have understood it in any other way. Sri Chaitanya Prabhu confirmed this saying, I was so pleased with Rupa Goswami that when I embraced him near Siddhabakul in Jagannath Puri, after reading this verse, I invested him with all the Shakti needed for preaching Bhakti and revealing the nature of Bhakti to everyone else. So when did Mahaprabhu bestow his mercy to Rupa Goswami? Which are the instances? Most important instances. Anyone knows of Mahaprabhu bestowing mercy to Rupa Goswami? Which are the instances? We should have read Chaitanya Charitamrita. So the first instance is when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in the pretext of going to Vrindavan. At Ramkeli, he met Rupa and Sanatan. That time he bestowed his full mercy. And then when Rupa Goswami left Nawab Hussain Shah's job and ran, escaped, and met Mahaprabhu in Dashashwamedh Ghat, he instructed him in the science of Bhakti Ras and Shakti Sanchalaya. Shri Rupa Hridaya Shakti Sanchalaya. And in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Antilila it comes. Rupa Milan is there, where Rupa Goswami visits Vrindavan. And there Rupa Goswami, even while coming, he was contemplating about a drama which he wanted to compose. And Satyabhama came in the dream in Satyabhama Puri and told that compose two different dramas. One of Braj Leela, one of Dwarka Leela with the queens. Don't mix the two, because there is pure Madhurya Ras, which is Parakya, and there is Madhurya Ras of Dwarka with the queens, but it is Swakiya. There is difference. So he composed Vidak Madhav and Lalit Madhav. And there in that August assembly where Rupa Goswami was explaining this work, who were the audience? Haridas Thakur, Swarup Damodar, Ramanand Rai. And Ramanand Rai was asking, tell me, what is the Nandi verse of this, and then he was explaining, understanding, the whole intricacies of poetry, the whole science. He was asking very, very philosophical questions. And Rupa Goswami is giving answer, and all the devotees were relishing that. And of course, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in quite detail, this is there. Devotees might not understand because we are not trained in Kavya Shastra, but still devotees should read. And one day reading, will little relish that. And the next time he got a deeper mercy is when he composed this verse. And when Mahaprabhu read it, as I mentioned, he slapped him out of love and embraced him. So this is that instance being spoken here. When he embraced him, he bestowed his mercy. We see that Rupa Goswami understood everything by mercy. Although certainly he already had Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, the Lord further invested his spiritual Shakti into Rupa Goswami so that we could explain it to us. After seeing that Rupa Goswami understood his heart, Mahaprabhu instructed, now Swarup Damodar, go and explain everything to him. So I was explaining that Swarup Damodar explained to Rupa Goswami, to Raghunath Das Goswami, and to Rupa Goswami, and they have given the literature and we should read that literature. So now Swarup Damodar explained. He already understood everything. He had written that verse because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had invested him with his Shakti. Nevertheless, even if we have understood everything and our hearts are overflowing with love of God, we should go to our spiritual master and hear him explain to us even what we have already understood. We should do this because the spiritual master will explain what we have learned or felt in our hearts to us on the level of rational understanding. Our intuitive perception can then remain and be established in our hearts. This is very important point that we must understand. So nevertheless, we might be situated at a very elevated platform where we are studying these literature and experiencing rasa. Still, we should go to our spiritual master. Rupa Goswami understood the heart of Mahaprabhu, but still, Mahaprabhu is pleased with him. But Mahaprabhu told Swarup Damodar, go and instruct him. So similarly, we should not feel that now I have understood science of rasa, I am diving in the ocean of rasa, I need not go and hear my spiritual master's classes. No. Our intuitive perception can then remain to be established in our hearts like this. This is very, very important and deep point. It is an example Rupa Goswami set for all of us. It is Rupa Goswami who established and set the example for all of us. Now we are coming to a very, very interesting topic. Paragraphs 46 to 52. Rupa Goswami explains the science of rasa. Now this science of rasa is a very deep subject, and I will discuss first what Maharaj is going to speak about it and then explain some concepts. I will do that explanation of concepts tomorrow. But today, just we will go through what Maharaj is explaining. So stay tuned. Any questions up till now we have? Any questions, any clarifications? Okay. Rupa Goswami explains the science of rasa. How many of you have studied Bhakti's Rasamrit Sindhu here? Please raise your hands. One, two, three. Jagdishwar Guruji, you have not studied Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu? Yes. Narendra Yadav Guruji, you have not raised your hand. So devotees should study Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. It's very important. It is the science of rasa. Prabhupada, as an emergency, the first thing he gave to his Western disciples was Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, the highest rasa of Rupa Goswami. So we'll just go into the science of rasa as Maharaj is explaining, and then we will take up an additional concept of rasa tomorrow. This is the contribution of Sampradaya that we cannot find elsewhere. We cannot find it elsewhere. Rupa Goswami has explained bhakti as rasa. The whole bhakti has rasa has been explained by Rupa Goswami, which was never before revealed. Even to, all the great devotees in the past, like Prahlad, Bhishma, it was never revealed. That's how, Vishwanath Chakra Thakur glorifies Rupa Goswami in the beginning of his books, that Rupa Goswami has given us rasa. In order to understand what spiritual rasa is, let us first understand what rasa is in a worldly sense. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was repeating a verse from a mundane rasa shastra, a verse that is an example of worldly love. So the whole world is captured by the worldly love. All movies are about, the love of the hero and heroine. So every movie has, one standard theme. There is a hero, there is a heroine, and then there are the villain. And how the hero, ultimately destroys the villain, and how the hero and heroine, unite. All are, this is the same, worldly rasa. But Mahaprabhu has explained that bhakti is the highest sense, but must ultimately lead to rasa. There are two fundamental concepts, bhava and ras. There are two fundamental concepts, bhava and ras. Rasa is the transformation of bhav. Bhav is an emotion. Let us first examine bhava and rasa not in a spiritual sense, but in terms of philosophy, but in a worldly sense, so that we can all relate to it. Now, these fundamental concepts of bhava and ras, Maharaj has explained, and rasa is a transformation of bhava, and bhava is an emotion. How many of you are able to understand this definition? I would like to know now, so that maybe I am feeling the need that this concept has to be introduced now. Otherwise, it is difficult to grasp for the devotees. How many of you were able to understand this definition? Rasa is a transformation of bhava and bhava is an emotion. Please raise your hands. How many were able to understand? Okay, there's only one devotee. Okay. I'll ask you, Lakshmi Narasimha Prabhuji. Okay. Lakshmi Narasimha Prabhuji? Yes. So what does it mean by this? Yes, Lakshmi Narasimha Prabhuji. I have unmuted you.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, yes.
I might be wrong, Prabhuji, but just giving it a try. So,
Yes.
like here, rasa, what they call is the topmost fructification of the bhava state. So when bhava is in the primary stage, the sprouting stage, when it grows and matures, it turns into a rasa in its fullest form.
Mhm.
So that is rasa is the transformation of bhava.
Can you come again?
So, like in simple terms, like bhava is the starting stage, and when it matures and then fructifies, then it transforms into rasa to the fullest form.
So I'll go to the concepts. I felt the need, and this is from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Please understand, this is very important. We are all going through these experiences, but we don't realize and understand it because we don't know the philosophy behind it. The difference in rasa and bhava is that many bhavas unitedly give rise to rasa. So now your question is, what are the many bhavas? Because bhavas unite and give rise to rasa. Rasata is attained when all bhavas combine together. Rasa is attained when all bhavas combine together. Amongst all the bhavas, the bhav which is prominent is called stahi bhav. Now the definition, there are many bhavas, but one bhava which is prominent gives, which is most prominent, that is called as stahi bhav. Now again, I'll give you some example. The milk itself is rasa, but in that milk you add, some dry fruits. You add some flavors, strawberry. Then you add some ghee. So these all, bhavas, these are all bhavas, ingredients. Bhavas also can mean emotions And bhavas also can mean ingredients. Bhava is also nature, material nature, spiritual nature. So now, there is the strawberry milk. Within the strawberry milk, there is, uh, what is it called? There's the dry fruits, like strawberry, the cherries. There is in the form of liquid strawberry, some additional liquids added to taste the milk more nice. And then there are dry fruits. So all these bhavas, combine, and when you drink the milk, you experience certain happiness, joy in the heart. That is rasa. You're tasting rasa, strawberry juice, milk strawberry juice. That's why there are varieties of juices nowadays, There's so much combinations. So all these bhavas, the prominent one is called as Sai Bhava. There's a prominent one. Amongst the other three bhavas, one is named Vibhava, one is named Anubhava, and one is named Sanchari Bhava. So there was a mention that many bhavas unitedly give rise to rasa. So which are the many bhavas? Tahi bhav, Vibhav, Anubhav, and Sanchari bhav. So all these bhavas together give rise to rasa, and the prominent bhava is called as Tahi bhav. So the prominent is milk. Milk with strawberry liquid and then some other cherries and all that, gives rise to rasa in one sense. Bhava is the support of all of the other three, becomes relishable and is transformed into rasa. Bhava with the support of these three. Vibhava, Anubhava, and Sanchari Bhava becomes relishable and is transformed into rasa. So the definition is that many bhavas gives rise to rasa. And what are these bhavas? The prominent bhava is called Sai Bhava. The other bhavas are Vibhav, Anubhav, and Sanchari Bhava. So now you'll ask me, what is Vibhava, Anubhav, and Sanchari Bhava? Okay, now I'm giving an example. Milk, dry fruits, sugar, ghee, rava, all when they combine together and when you make halwa, then you relish halwa rasa. You cannot relish the halwa rasa when you just only go and eat raw halwa. There's no rasa much in it. Only when all these ingredients, all these many bhavas combine together, they give rise to rasa. This is the difference between the fundamental concept difference between bhavas and rasa. And amongst these ingredients, one which is prominent is called as Tahi Bhav. Now, among these ingredients here, which do you think is the Tahi Bhav here? Which one you think? Can you guess which one? Yes, Jagdish Prabhuji. Which one is the Tahi Bhav according to you? Anyone?
This is Rava. Rava is this Thai.
Okay. Anyone else? Yes, rava is also a very important ingredient, but you have a yes, Virendra Yadav Guruji.
Hare Krishna, bro. It's a sugar, bro.
It's sugar. See, you even have rava, but you have not put sugar. When you taste the halwa without sugar, how will you? What is your expression? What is this? Immediately you'll have a reaction. So sugar is that prominent rasa, or the bhava, which has to be there. So the difference in bhava and rasa is that many bhavas unitedly give rise to rasa. Many bhavas give rise to rasa. Now, among them, the stahi bhav, prominent rasa is called as stahi bhav. So at the stage of bhava, your rasa with Krishna is revealed, whether you're in stha and shanta bhav, dasya bhav, sakya, vatsalya, and madhurya. So this is revealed. This is called as stahi bhav. Now, stahi bhav combines with vibhav, anubhav, sanchari bhav, and sattvic vibhavs, and it gives rise to rasa, emotions, spiritual rasa. All these, emotions give rise to rasa. This is the definition of rasa. Okay. Up till here, the concept of rasa and bhava, I hope, is clear. Any questions? You have to understand this step by step, which we discuss in our Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu seminars. I hope now it is clear what is the difference between bhava and rasa, which Maharaj was explaining. Any clarifications you have up till now? Okay, Krishnapad Prabhuji, what is the difference between rasa and bhava?
Roji, bhav is different ingredients, and rasa is the experience of different bhavas altogether.
Yes, and among the basic definition is many bhavas combine and give rise to rasa. Okay, that's the difference between bhava and rasa. Okay, now among the bhavas, the one which is prominent, what is that called?
Sthai bhav.
Okay, it's fine. Now, tell me one thing after understanding. If the prominent rasa is not there, prominent bhava is not there, the sai bhava, will it give rise to rasa? Who will answer this? Yes, Jagdish Apurji.
This will not give to rasa, but it's a rasa bhas, something like that. I heard something like that.
Yes, we are experiencing certain rasa in our bhakti life.
Yes.
Not the full-fledged rasa, because in
Yes.
Sahiva gets fully revealed. Because we don't know our rasa with Krishna now. For us now, Asya rasa is more important to practice servant of the servant. And there is a relish. We have to try. We are not experiencing Nam ras.
Yeah.
Ras, when you're experiencing, we have experience of Am ras and Dhaneka ras. When you take Am ras, once you drink it, I want another one, and I want another one, and I want another one. So like that Nam ras, when you chant 16 rounds, I want to chant another 16 rounds. And I want to chant another 16 rounds. That means Nam ras you have. Till then you don't have Nam ras like that. So yes, so this is how we should understand. Yes. Okay, so till here you have understood, and I hope you have understood this. Now let's come to the definition of Vibhav, Anubhav, Sanchari Bhav, and Satvik Bhav. I'll just take few minutes more, because if I don't complete this discussion, then tomorrow we'll not be able to connect. Vibhav is which stimulates the Stahi Bhav. And Vibhav has two components, Alamban with Deepan. Alamban means support. Love means there has to be subject of love, object of love. Love means there have to be two. For anything to stand, there has to be a support. Alamban is support. So the Vishaya is Krishna, Asha is the devotee who possesses love for Krishna. And for Mother Yashoda, it is Vatsalya. So Krishna is object of love as son. For the gopis, Krishna is the same Vishaya, but he is looked as a lover. For the friends of Krishna, Krishna is only the object, but he is their Saka, Sakyaras. And for the Dasas, he is my master. So like that, Alamban is there. Uddipan are that which are spiritual stimulants, which stimulate the Stahi Bhav. Now for the Sakya Rasa, the bugle, the horn, the stick are the Uddipan. For Mother Yashoda, the curly hairs, Muhush Chumbitam Bimba Rakta Dharambe. Mother Yashoda, for her, she does Chumban of Krishna. Krishna's cheeks are the object of her love. That's why mothers, kiss the cheeks of their children. The ankle bells of Krishna. For the Madhurya Ras, it is the flute, the full moon night. That agitates the heart of the gopis in conjugal love. So these are called as Uddipan. So this is regarding Vibhav. Anubhavas, okay, then we go into the different rasas, worldly rasas. I will not take this. Now I'll go back directly to the definition of Anubhava. Anubhava, here you can see Mother Yashoda has love for Krishna as the son, Vatsalya. He is the Vishaya, and the Stahi Bhav is the Vatsalya Ras. The Vishaya Vibhav Alamban is Krishna. The Ashray Alamban Vibhav is Mother Yashoda. And the Udipan are sunset. When sunset Goduli happens, the Vatsalya affection for Mother Yashoda starts getting, excited in her heart. Oh, Krishna is going to come now. Krishna is entering now. Krishna is coming back home. She comes out of the house. So her love, her Stahi Bhav gets activated by Vibhav, Udipan. And when she sees the Vishaya, the love starts flowing. The Vatsalya starts flowing. And then there is the Anubhav, is a voluntary action for heightened affection of the object of love. So this is voluntary action. The love is there in the heart of Mother Yashoda, and she opens her arms to embrace Krishna. Or I was mentioning that, she kisses the cheek of Krishna. And then sometimes Mother Yashoda, out of ecstasy, she might experience some transient emotions where her Vatsalya Bhav goes to a very high height. Like when Krishna was in the Kaliya coils, she was so fearful. Oh, what is going to happen to my son Krishna? And her Vatsalya affection went to a deep height and she collapsed the consciousness. So there are certain transient emotions which rise high and then they fall and they embellish, the bhakti ras. So her Vatsalya affection for Krishna goes to a height when Krishna is in the Kaliya coils. So that is, these are transient because it's not that all the time they are coming. They come and they embellish and, deepen the Vatsalya ras. So this is called a Sanchari. The Sattviki Bhavas are not voluntary, they are involuntary. Like, Mother Yashoda, when she opens her arms, she doesn't order, hairs, please stand on end. These are involuntary ecstatic emotions of the soul which she might experience. So these are all the bhavas combined give rasa of Vatsalya ras. They give rise to rasa. So I just explained the concept of rasa now. I thought parallel discussion is important, otherwise we might not get what Maharaj is trying to say here. So we have completed here and we discussed Vibhav, Anubhava, Sanchari Bhav and Sattviki Bhav. So we will go further into this discussion tomorrow into the whole science of rasa, what Maharaj is trying to explain. But for now, we will stop here. Any questions, any clarifications up till now? Okay, so we will stop here. Shri Manah Shiksha ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami ki Jai. Hare Krishna.